we're gonna study NIOS Biology Unit number 30, which is Immunology and Introduction. In this chapter, we will study important aspects of immunology as well as terms associated with immunology. So let's start with immunology itself first. Immunology is a subfield of biology closely associated with immune system present inside our body continuously fighting against infectious agents. The credit for establishment of immunology goes to various scientists such as Edward Jenner, Louis Pasteur, and McNichol. The important term in immunology is immunity, which is defined as body's ability to distinguish or fight against foreign substances without harming the body. So it's like a body's ability to protect itself. There is another term which is immune system. The immune system is a kind of system present inside our body consisted of molecules, cells and organs which continuously coordinated with each other to protect the body. So there are certain kind of defense mechanisms present inside body which protects the body whenever a pathogen or foreign substance enter into the body and try to harm the body. For example, there is a bacteria which is coming inside the body. So when a bacteria is entering into the blood stream or inside the body will distinguish itself from that pathogen. So this ability is called as self non-self recognition. So what is the self non-self recognition? All of the cells or material inside your body is called self because it consists you, and the substances which which invades in your body, which comes from outside in your body, is called non-self. So body can recognize self and non-self substances, and whenever pathogen attacks, it can recognize the foreign substance or pathogen, and consequently it will attack and degrade metabolically, which will result in the protection against that pathogen. So we can say the immune system has some kind of defense mechanism. There are major four defense mechanism. One defense mechanism is the against the infection. For example, there is a bacteria which is invading your skin and entering into the body. It is called defense against infection. The second one is the metabolic defense. For example, there is a bacteria which is present continuously producing toxic substances. So the body will recognize that foreign bacterium and will phagocytose it. Once it is phagocytosed, um, the substance which was present in bacterium will be metabolically degraded. So that type of defense is called metabolic defense. The third one is the homeostatic defense. The when body undergoes the excessive blood loss, it can result into the continuous blood flow, and if it is not stopped, the continuous blood loss can be fatal. And to stop that, body will produce some of the clotting agents which will stop the blood flow and will prevent the death. So that one is the third types of defense mechanism. The fourth one is the hormonal mechanism, in which for example the body is undergoing some kind of stresses. At that time the certain hormones will release, and that hormone will relax the body and will help to fight against that stress. So these are the four different types of defenses which any immune system possesses, especially in vertebrates, and here we are specifically talking about human immune system. Apart from defenses, we are supposed to learn about defenses, the functions of defense mechanism. So what are the functions? The first major function of defense mechanism is defense against microorganism. There are many microorganisms which are classified under pathogens, and they can harm body. Even if they are not harmful to the body will recognize them and will destroy them. So this mechanism, this is also function of defense or the immune system. The second one is the surveillance. If there is a mutant cell inside the body, for example, there is a cell which has undergone continuous multiplication, or we can say if it has become mutant and forming the or oncogenic colonies of cells, the body will destroy that cells and protect the body. So this one is the second function of immune system. The third function is the homeostasis. Whatever
which are
the cells
not useful for
which
the
are
body
which
will be
have
metabolically
died
degraded
inside the
and will
body
be removed
or
out
the
from the
damaged
body.
so that was the third function of the immune system. Now we will move to the immune system. So there is a misconception about immune system that it is entirely made up of one type of component, which is not entirely true, since the immune system is consisted of molecules, cells, organs, proteins, and other materials which consist the whole body. There are body systems in our body which are entirely made up of organs or cells or single types of cells, but it is not true for immune system, because immune system is very diverse. Even some of the simplest protein complexes uh, are associated with defense mechanism. So it is very important to identify the different components of the immune system. So first we will take a look at the organs of immune system. The organ of immune system is divided into two categories: the primary organ and the secondary organ. The primary organs consisted of bone marrow and thymus, while secondary organ is consisted of limbs, melt, and other many organs like spleens. Which spleen is the largest immune system organ, largest immune organ or lymphoid organ. Now we will take a look at cells of the immune system. We have in our syllabus the cells have been divided into two categories: lymphocytes and the macrophages. Those two cells actually overlaps each other, so we will not go into the proper classification, but we will learn the individuals immune cells. So lymphocytes, what are lymphocytes? Lymphocytes are a type of cells which are originated from bone marrow. The lymphocytes uh, actually produce, some of the lymphocytes produce certain proteins which can identify antigens. What are antigens? We will take a look at the antigens in a second. Now we will go for the macrophages. Macrophages are heavy, large cells which phagocytose pathogens or substances which are harmful for us. For example, there is a bacterium which is continuously roaming in the bloodstream, will be identified by macrophages, and they will engulf it. They will phagocytose that bacterium and will destroy that. Now lymphocytes, there are major two types of lymphocytes: B cells or B lymphocytes or T lymphocytes. So first we will go for the B lymphocytes. B lymphocyte, the term B indicates that it is originated and developed or matured in bone marrow. The term B actually, it in birds, the bursa of fabrica is a organ in which the B lymphocytes gets matured, and that's why the term B is used to identify B lymphocytes. So the B lymphocyte are types of specialized cells which are upon the infections developed into the uh, plasma cells, which releases the antibodies. Antibodies are type of proteins, so you can say they releases some kind of proteins which help them to recognize foreign substances, for example pathogens. Apart from B cell, there are T cells. T cells or T lymphocytes. The term T derives from the organ thymus. The thymus, the thymus is the place where T lymphocytes gets educated or T lymphocytes get matured. All the cells, B cells or and T cells, they all originated in bone marrow, but uh, but after a certain age, the T cells leave the bone marrow and go into the thymus, where they are specifically educated to fight against pathogens, to fight against harmful substances. So what are the main functions of T cells? Regulate immune response, mediate cell mediatory immune response, which is a kind of immune response. We will study about cell mediated immune response in a later part of the chapter. The third one is the induce B cell response. They help to activate B cells. Upon the infection, if B cells are in a state of inactivation or they are like sleeping, the T cell will activate them to produce that antibodies or proteins to recognize infectious agents. Now we will move to the another concept, which is antibodies and antigens. So what are antibodies and antigens? Suppose there is a bacterium. The bacterium has a cell wall, and that cell wall is consisted of protein and lipid. So when that bacterium, suppose that bacterium is invading in your body, bacterium is invading inside the body. So once it will enter into the body, that proteins present on its cell membrane or cell wall will will induce the immune response. Now what is immune response? Immune response means once a foreign substance or a pathogen enters into the body, it it induces a kind of response which result into the activation of lymphocytes and other different immune cells. It activates the immune system of the body. So the response which results into the activation of immune system, or a response which awake the immune system, is called immune response. So that bacterial protein which is present on bacterial membrane or on bacteria, which has ability to induce immune response, is called antigen. So the antigen is present on bacterial membrane. So antigens are foreign substances. Once it enters, the foreign substance or bacteria enters into the body, the antigens induces the immune response, and once an immune response is induced, the body is awakened, and the immune system will take action against that pathogen and will recognize that particular antigen. And once antigen is recognized, the particular antibodies will be prepared by immune cells. So what are antibodies? Antibodies are protein complexes. These protein complexes are produced by B cells. We have studied about B cells. B cells are type of lymphocytes. So these lymphocytes, these B cells, will produce antibodies, and that antibody is specific to that antigen. So antibodies are very specific to their antigens. For example, there is a bacteria which is entering into the body, which is carrying antigen. The antibodies which are specific to that antigen attached to the antigen, and once antibody recognizes the antigen, the immune response is enhanced, and that pathogen which is carrying the antigen will be destroyed, and more amount of antibodies will be produced. Now we'll take look at the structure of antibody. This is the structure of antibody. The antibody has a prominent structure. There are various other types of antibodies, but the common structure of or the typical antibody structure is this. So, in antibody is consisted of various polypeptides. Some of the polypeptide chains are heavy, some of the polypeptide chains are light. So, according to their weight, molecular weight, that in antibody and this antibody, the part of antibodies are named. For example, this is light chain, and this is the heavy chain. This is light chain, this is heavy chain. So this structure is enough. If you will draw this structure in exam, it will be sufficient. You just need to mention the light chain, heavy chain, and antigen binding site. These three things are important. Now, actually, the immunoglobulin and antibodies are one another same thing. When we deal with the structure of antibodies, we don't say antibodies. Instead, we say immunoglobulin. So, don't be confused if a question is asked that what is immunoglobulin. So, immunoglobulin is nothing but antibodies. So there are various antibodies or immunoglobulins: immunoglobulin A, immunoglobulin E, immunoglobulin G, immunoglobulin M. But most common one immunoglobulins are immunoglobulin A and immunoglobulin G. These are the most common immunoglobulin. Immunoglobulin G. Why? Because immunoglobulin, it is for general purpose. That's why it is called immunoglobulin G. All these immunoglobulin has different molecular masses. The highest mass, the highest weighted immunoglobulin is IgM. Immune responses. There are majorly two types of immune response: the innate immune response and adaptive immune response. The innate immune response is non-specific immune response. It means it is not specific to anything, while the adaptive immune response is a specific immune response which is very specific and particular to the substances or pathogens which is invading, or the infectious agent which is harming the body. So now we will take a look at the non-specific immune response, which is also called as a innate immune response. For example, uh, uh, your skin, which is protecting your body against thousands of bacteria present in air. So that skin is part of non-specific immune system. They are like a first defense mechanism. The non-specific immune response is the first immune response, or the immune response which protects the body on immediate basis, while specific immune response is the later immune response, or it comes after the non-specific immune response, or we can say once the non-specific immune response fails to tackle the uh, infection, then specific immune response will come into the picture. So non-specific immune response will form the first line defense mechanism. For example, your body temperature. Once pathogen enters into the body, the body temperature will rise, resulting into the change in body temperature, and that pathogen will not be able to survive in that high temperature. But once If by chance, unfortunately, if they uh, they will be able to survive in that condition, the specific immune response will be activated. The specific or adaptive immune response is further classified into two responses, immune responses: cell mediated immune response and antibody mediated immune response. The cell mediated immune response, as name suggests, is mediated by cell. For example, there is a pathogen which is roaming in your bloodstream. The macrophages or dendrocytes will engulf or phagocytose that cells, the pathogens, and protect that body. It is called cell mediated immune response, which is mostly done by lymphocytes. Now, antibody mediated immune response, or the immune response which is mediated by antibodies or immunoglobulins. As we know that B cells, or more specifically plasma cells, are produces the body antibodies, and that antibodies will recognize that pathogen or antigen present on that pathogen, and it will induce the response, and that response is called antibody mediated response. Now there is a differences that distinction is given, the cell mediated immune response and humoral immune response. So what are the differences between cell mediated and humoral immune responses, which is another term for the antibody mediated immune response? We have already seen all of these differences. You can also go through it, which is there in your textbook. You can write it by yourself too, based on whatever we have learned right now. Now, types of immunity, we have already seen the types of immunity. Mm, but we will once again see the types of immunity. One is the natural or innate immunity. The natural immunity is consisted of various barriers. The first one is a physical barrier. The skin is physical barrier which will retard the growth of or pathogens or bacteria. Another one is the epithelial lining of various organs. For example, the respiratory tract is covered by mucosa, so the mucosa will prevent the entry of that substances, will remove out whatever the foreign substances which try to invade into the body. The second one is the phagocytic cells. The phagocytic cells also consist the natural or innate immunity. For example, there are cells like macrophages, neutrophils, and dendrocytes. These cells will recognize foreign substances, foreign cells, pathogens, and will engulf them. The third one is the complementary system. Complement are types of protein complexes which will attach to the foreign substance or cells and induce the phagocytosis. They will also enhance the immune response. Now we will move to the acquired immunity. Acquired immunity or adaptive immunity is a specific immunity uh, which comes later when the first line of defense mechanism fails to tackle the infection. Um, it is mainly done by various cells as well as by antibodies. Now, the first one is the actively acquired immunity. The actively acquired immunity is, for example, there is a child who has got the common cold or swine flu or any infectious diseases. For once it gets that infection or disease, it will be immune to that disease for the rest of his life. So it's called actively acquired immunity. Passively acquired immunity. What is passively acquired immunity? Once a child is born, it is he is vaccinated. The child is vaccinated, or the when a child is breastfed, the antibodies present in mother's milk will be given to the child. So the antibodies or the immunity which is transferred from one person to another person is called passively acquired immunity, while actively acquired immunity is the immunity which body itself develop. Now the vaccination or the active immunization. What are the vaccines? Vaccination means to vaccinate, or the process of vaccination. It was originally developed by the Louis Pasteur, which drives the idea from Jenner, scientist Jenner, Edmund Jenner. Active immunization is based on the concept of memory. Our immune system has a memory to recognize the pathogens it first encounter. Once it has already encountered that pathogens, in second time, in subsequent encounters, a body will the immune system will enhance its responses for the second time, and this will help it to prevent the to spread. So the concept is based on this phenomena. Once there are certain pathogens, they are killed by treating them with a chemical or by heating them. Once they are killed, they are termed as attenuated. They are also called weakened strains. So these attenuated or killed organisms are introduced inside the human body, inside the body. And they will enter into the body, the immune system will recognize their antigen, because antigens are present, because the antigens are present in their body, whether it doesn't matter whether they are alive or not. So the antigens will be recognized, antigen will induce immune response, and for the second time, when that person encounters with the actual immunes with the actual pathogen, the immune response will be enhanced, and the body will recognize that pathogen, and will kill them. So this is how the body will prevent the spread of infection. There is one good example of diphtheria. uh, Before invention of vaccines, diphtheria was the major cause of child death, but after vaccination, the cause of death in the child by diphtheria has reduced 100%. So there is not any known case of diphtheria, death of child with immunized kid by diphtheria. There are types of vaccines too, like the vaccines which are prepared by killing the organism. There are this is called as a the vaccines made up by killing the organism. Another vaccines which are in which the organisms are not completely killed, but they are attenuated, means their strength or their uh, power to harm is reduced or is completely weakened, and they are still alive, but there are three they have already been weakened. The first one so is the BCG, that strain is called attenuated strains. There are some vaccines in which DNA strains are used. So there are various types of vaccines, but most common vaccines are the vaccines which are prepared by killing of the organism. The name is based on the scientist who had discovered the vaccine. There are three important vaccines in your syllabus. The first one is second one is the DPT, second one is based on the name of this diseases, MMR, diphtheria, the name of the vaccines, and pertussis borderella disease. Disease is against the third one is the MMR, which is also based on the disease. It called the BCG is bacilli clamati guerin. The name is based on the scientist who had discovered the vaccine. These are the which is against protein tuberculosis. Apart from second one is the DPT, there are which is based on polysaccharides as well as the DNA vaccines, diphtheria, tetanus, toxoids, the efficiency of DNA or polysaccharide vaccines. The third one is the MMR, which is also based on the disease. It causes disease is against your chapter ends against in which it is still you have any doubt, you can ask me in the comment section. These are the majorly protein more vaccines. Apart from subscribe protein vaccines, there are polysaccharides as well as the